everyone, I'm Brittany Renner.
I'm Terrika Foster-Brasby.
I'm Pearl Davis.
And I'm Dylan Gonzalez, and this is the GFY Show.
We are no strangers to controversy.
And are not afraid to speak our truth.
And we're committed to our love of culture, entertainment, and sports.
And the athletes that play them. We make our own rules here, and if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. Okay? Now, let's dive right in. What we got on the list today? Entertainment energy. Krishan Rock was arrested with her baby and was taken away to, I guess, stay with a close friend. Her baby was. Not really sure what happened. I guess she went to Blueface's hearing and got arrested. She had a felony warrant. Yeah.
How do you forget you have a felony warrant for your arrest?
So what are your immediate thoughts, Pearl?
That some people should not have children.
Shit. Ah, shit.
What?
Dylan, how do you feel?
This poor child, it's like them neglecting this kid on live.
I didn't see it, so I didn't know what happened. I'm so lost.
She basically just went to his hearing and she got arrested right after.
It's so terrible.
How do you feel about it?
Okay, so I feel like it just hurts. It hurts because this is the type of stuff, that gets constantly fed and regurgitated to the culture. When I mentor so many children and youth and young ladies and whatever, and this is the stuff that they're obsessed with. And unfortunately, it kind of creates this poor value system.
Yeah.
Even if it's just in the subconscious mind, because everybody just remember something. Our belief systems aren't just religious partialities. In fact, they're just simply the thoughts you think about most often. So when you're regurgitating this stuff, watching it over and over, you tend to kind of plant these seeds, and then you follow in these kind of same footsteps without even really realizing it, signing up for this kind of toxicity. And I just feel like it's going to be this kind of chain reaction, because I feel like a lot of the culture, and this is absolutely no shade because this is somebody who's part of this culture, probably has ADHD and all these different things. So they want attention. They want things that make them feel something, feel of value, feel of worth. Even in this poor case scenario, it's we're just seeing a whole bunch of emotional meltdowns and breakdowns of people who don't have the control over their emotional capacity because they weren't taught. So now you have this kid, this baby that's in the mix, this poor innocent little baby. And it just really breaks my heart. And when I think about, again, what this child so early, the trauma that he's having to go through, just breaks my heart.
I think there's another dynamic to this too that probably might get missed, and that's the essence of sometimes women do the most for men who may not necessarily do the most for them. And so I don't know the relationship between Krishan and Blueface, to make any assumptions about what they are, what they do, or whatnot. But I know that there's this natural essence that sometimes we have, especially as Black women, where it's I gotta show up for this guy, I gotta show up for this man, I gotta show him that I'm loyal, that I got his support, blah, 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 blah. The father of my child. And at the end of the day, if you know that maybe there's something that's not going to work out beneficial for you on the back end, showing up to court knowing that you got a warrant, you don't have to prove to anybody how down you are. That was a moment where you were listen, bro, you got your own situation, I got my own situation, and it's not gonna benefit either of us for me to put myself into the situation. But in a larger sense, sometimes that just happens. Sometimes women do that. They continue to put themselves in situations that they don't need to prove this unnecessary loyalty to a man. And it's why do you need to do that?
Craziness. What do you think?
They're both crazy. They're both insane.
Pisces, they're a Pisces and Aquarius mix, and I think my biggest thing is I see two sides of it. When she got his face tatted, I was all right, I'm really done with this. Right coming up on your neck, and then you got his face tatted, I'm really done with you. But then there's the other side of me too that's a bit more empathetic, where I'm this is clearly the most that she has felt loved, because that's why she goes so hard for it in my mind.
But she didn't pass the lie detector test when they asked if she cheated on him.
But in your argument, because you make a lot of arguments about the cheating stuff, you have said, or I feel like you support generalization of you can cheat on someone and still love them. So how is that
Well, men
different?
and women are different. When women cheat, it's the end of the relationship. When men cheat, it's not that bad. Especially, what do you expect when you date celebrities? Every woman has the option to go after normal men. They're much more loyal. But yet she chooses to go after Blueface, a rapper. Are rappers known for being loyal? Anybody? And then we're shocked when he cheats.
My question to you is because you're dating someone, correct? Okay. Would you consider him normal or is he in the limelight?
It was normal.
Okay, so what happens if he were to cheat on you?
I wish. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't.
So if he were,
no,
right now.
I'd stay.
See, she's a better one than me because I've been with my man for 13 years and married for 8. And if that man cheat on me, I bet not never find out because that's it. That's the end. It's done. It's a wrap. Yeah. I don't do this. Like, I don't go this back and forth thing. There's a line that is drawn with me from the very beginning. And that's the moment that you and I signed this document that said we are legally binding to each other, you said words to me that meant that you are committed to me. And that's fine. Our relationship ain't strong enough for me to survive cheating. Because you don't have to. That's a conscious choice. You don't just fall in some
pussy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just make a mistake and accidentally. Like, that's a conscious choice.
It depends how deep it is for me. Like, okay, is it a second family? That'd be a little much. I'd be like, okay. But
incest is where she draws the line.
But so I feel
but it's like, okay, like one time, like a hoe one time, do I really care?
It's kind of giving like the bar is like below sea level because in your argument you just said that like, oh, like he's a rapper, like what do you expect he's gonna cheat? So then you're saying like, I mean, a normal guy could still cheat. Like he's not exempt of cheating. So then it's like, well, you're still saying, so then there's women across the board that accept crumbs because I think entry level in a relationship is commitment. Unless you're into like polyamory, polygamy.
I'm not into polyamory, but I think we have to see what it is. We find 80% of men as unattractive or ugly. That's just a fact. Any woman in here, I'll show you 10 men, you're gonna find 8 of them as ugly. If you're with a guy that you find attractive, he has the option to cheat because all the women want him.
I don't know where you got that logic.
Dating apps, Instagram, and real life. They've done these studies in multiple places. They find the same thing. Even in history, it's like 8 men or 8 women reproduce for every 1 man. What does that mean? We all go for the same men. Pick your poison. You want a guy you find attractive or a guy you don't and he'll be loyal? You can't have it all.
There are
that's such a limiting belief.
It is such a limiting belief.
Well, you can't have it all.
You know what? I'll look at I'll look at
for you.
You know what? You can live. Okay. Have you guys ever been in a situationship? Ever?
We all have.
Okay, yeah.
I think we all have,
so what is that? That's the same thing.
But I think the difference is that there's a conscious
That's
choice.
the same thing.
There's a conscious choice that's made, at least for me. I can only speak for Terrika, but like there's a conscious choice to be in a situationship, not because I have to be or because I'm settling for this man to like, you know, he's gonna be with somebody, so it might as well just be me for the moment. Like, no, if we are in a situationship, that's because I have agreed to and allowed it. And when I'm done with this situationship, it will be done. Like that's the power that we have as women because we have something that men want unless men don't want women.
Do you know what I noticed too? Last show, you said your husband wasn't your type, right?
Not originally, no.
But that's the point. Yeah. So you went down on something you wanted.
No, I didn't say I didn't go down. Let's be careful with our words. Let's be careful with our words.
You said
definitely yes. So my husband was not my type, and by that I mean I'm usually attracted naturally to lighter skinned men. I like light skinned dudes. That's my
there's nothing wrong with that.
Everybody has a preference. That doesn't mean that my husband is ugly or unattractive. Just not the typical. No, I know you didn't say that. But I'm just saying, like, that is just not the guy that I have typically gone for. However, outside of that, there were other characteristics that attracted me to this person, and that is
correct. But my point is that's typically what happens. Is women don't typically go for their type in order to get loyalty.
Oh no, I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, that's what I've
because
seen.
in order to assume that that was the case, that would mean that I pursued my husband and that my husband didn't pursue me.
No,
that's exactly what it is.
Wait, so if your husband pursued you, that would prove more of my point.
No, it wouldn't, because you said that we go for whoever provides us loyalty, and I didn't necessarily say that I'm going after this man because he's going to be loyal to me.
No, but that's the whole point. We pick who we want to marry, right?
I would say that.
Out of the men that offer it, correct?
I would say that.
Yeah. And so my point is, typically when women pick a man to marry, that is a lifelong commitment, and they value monogamy more. So what does that mean?
But in order to
oftentimes, as you did, which is okay, doesn't mean it's unattractive, but we go down on something. Oftentimes it's looks, and it means you don't marry your type.
I don't agree with that, because I think that you are missing some key points in there. Number one, in order to get to the point of marriage, you have to start somewhere. So you're not necessarily just saying I'm settling or I'm doubling down or I'm not going for whoever it is that might be my type. Like, if you are talking to this guy and it turns into a relationship and that turns into something more, that's a conscious choice. You don't have to. It's not an act of settling. That's just maybe something that this person did, or in Krishan's case, we don't even know if she settled for Blueface. Maybe Blueface is her type. Maybe that's the guy that she really wants to be with or wants to
below
date.
settling.
But I don't know.
It's no shade.
I don't know.
I think what it comes down to is communication and compatibility. And I think that most people just don't take time to develop themselves enough. That's why we have all these ego problems. You're on a spectrum of compassion or narcissism, and everybody falls somewhere on that spectrum. And the more that, again, we deal with the, honestly, attention deficit in the media and all these different things, the more that kind of shit will blow people's heads up who fit in the typecast or the demographics or the categories that we consider attractive, that we value. So yes, therefore, people will gravitate towards them. There's a certain level of knowledge that you should know. I think most women are just willing to take the risk because we're kind of emotional gamblers, most of us. Not all of us. Some of us have a little more of that masculine energy where we lean a little more into our logic, and sometimes that creates a different dynamic. So, but when it comes down to it, I just simply think that with the situation with Krishan and Blueface, I'm just praying for them, honestly, and their kid and their family, because it's just an unfortunate situation. It's even more sad that it all has to be displayed publicly for scrutinizing and things like that. It's like,
Get off live.
I can't believe they were on live. That's what
And both of his baby mamas were talking
moving
shit
right
about
along here. Is Chris Brown's meet and greets worth it? Is it going too far with the fans? It is $1,000 to take a picture with him, and there's a lot of pictures where he's grabbing ass and picking legs up and taking pictures as if they were a couple. Like, is that too much? Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's a bit too much. But
is it?
It's not a bit too much for Chris Brown. It ain't too much for Chris Brown, but I think it's too much for the chicks. Like, why you paying $1,000 to meet Chris Brown?
But would you pay $1,000 to meet Michael Jackson?
I would not pay $1,000 to meet
same.
I'm not paying money
Agreed.
to meet anybody.
Your favorite person ever?
We better just cross paths naturally. Yeah. It doesn't. Do you think it gives the same? It gives the same value. Like, if you are. Oh my God, I'm walking down the street and guess what? I ran into Michael Jordan. I'm just making it up. Yeah. I ran into Michael Jordan, oh my God. Versus, I just gave this man $1,000 to meet with me who probably don't care about, you're not gonna care about me anyway. You took my money, it's all fake. The excitement of it is gone because the only reason why you're doing this is because I paid you.
I think that's a very fair point. I do think it's like you are paying him for a service, and at the end of the day, he's delivering. I think he's fine as fuck. So for me, I'm kind of I get it. And I guess I feel like if Chris Brown is your Michael Jackson, then I could kind of understand why people are like $1,000 for this generation's legend. Pearl, what do you feel about it?
I agree with you. I can't think of a single person.
Not a single person.
I'm trying to think. And you know what I was thinking about? Statistically, these chicks are in debt. Statistically, most women are in debt. That's how I think. So I'm like, you guys, at least half of you are in debt, and you're spending $1,000 to meet a celebrity. This is crazy. This is what our tax dollars go towards.
Dylan, how do you feel?
Okay, so just like you with my left brain and my right brain, one of me is like, okay, I actually really get it, because for some people it's like really soulful and spiritual and they like need this moment. And yes, like it doesn't make sense to anybody else. That doesn't fucking matter. It's like my soul needs this. This is a moment I've dreamed of my entire life. I'm making it happen, even if it's with the 2 pennies I'm pinching. So there's like the soulful side of me that gets it. Now on the other side of me, it's like again, on my personal level, like would I go there? Would I do that? No. But it's also because like I'm really a touchman. I don't like to be touched. Like I'm just like that way. So if we're taking a picture, like I would hope that, I just run into you. Like I'm not that type that's gonna do that. I feel like the culture is, so starstruck. Like I really can't stand fucking fans. I can't stand fans, because why? Fans are haters in disguise. That's it, period. So you're just letting a whole bunch of haters. You got fans or you got supporters. And there's a difference.
What's the difference?
Yeah, break that down for me.
Fans flip fast.
Okay,
it's like one day they'll be your fan, the next they'll hate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So here's what I mean by that. Fans are the type of people that want to own you because they lust after you, they idolize you, they cast you in a fantasy. And the second you're no longer that fantasy, or the second some news comes out about you, or again, you're no longer going down the lane they want you to go, like Rihanna not doing music. I mean, she's Rihanna, so the Navy's gonna stay strong. But I'm just saying, like certain things might piss people off that they start talking shit, going crazy, making burner accounts, whatever the hell else. Yeah. And honestly, energy exchanges are really big for me. So like, especially like, again, touching people, even just like, bing, like watch, ready? Energy exchanges are huge. And when you think about the certain types of exchanges, like when you're having these sexual exchanges and things like that, I just personally get like a little uncomfortable. I'm a woman who is very confident in her sexuality, but I have boundaries and I have all these other things that, again, I don't really care to have to sit here and make memos about. You're gonna find out or you're not. Like it is what it is. So for me, I'm a little uncomfortable, but I understand that other people thoroughly enjoy that, and I'm no judgment of it at all.
What I will say is this, though. If I am going to pay you $1,000, like if I am giving you $1,000, then hell yeah, you better make this the best $1,000 I have ever spent.
Okay, but what does that mean for you? Does that mean that you want to like a lap dance or some shit?
I mean,
like,
no,
what
but
does
I mean,
that
like
mean?
for what he's giving people, like he's taking the
grabbing
photos, he's grabbing booty.
What's your
$1,000, I want a 10-minute interview. Can we sit down?
Oh, okay.
Can I put this on my channel, please?
Now we're talking. Same. See, I think I would do the same thing. I'm somebody who's like an intellect, so I really want to pick your brain. I want to understand why you function, how you function, and like why you operate the way you do. I want to get into what Brittany would call the nitty gritty.
I think for me, my $1,000.
You better educate me. You better put me on to something.
If it's Chris Brown for my $1,000, you better sing to me. Like I want an entire song dedicated, and it can be something that you've already written. So you don't have to write nothing brand new. But like, I need you to sing something specifically to me that I'm going to record and have forever, so that I can forever take this back and remember where my $1,000 went. Because that's what I would pay for a concert ticket, right? So,
absolutely. So question for shits and giggles. Do we have anybody like that comes to the top of your head about like, who would I pay $1,000 to see? Like if you had to pick someone. Pearl? Do you have anyone that comes to mind?
Oh, yes, sir.
I'd probably pick, not like in that way, but I'd
You're getting your interview, Pearl.
Yeah, I'd probably pick Thomas Sowell. I don't think you guys know him. He's an economist.
You're right. I have no idea.
Why would you pick him?
Because he's really old, and I really wanted to interview him before he died.
Okay.
He's like in his 90s. He's like a legend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What about you?
I am a huge fan of Bridgerton. And so Regé-Jean Page is if for anyone who doesn't know his real name, he played the Duke Hastings.
He's so fucking hot.
He is so hot. And this is I know I talk about my husband a lot, but he already knows. So this is no secret. He knows. And Regé-Jean Page is he's so fine. So if I had to pay $1,000, if I had to life or death pay $1,000 to meet someone or be with someone, it would absolutely be Regé-Jean Page, who does know how to sing, and he's British. So I'm still getting my song.
I feel like if I had to pick, I feel like it would either be Jim Carrey or Johnny Depp.
Completely threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that's some pink meat I'd, get a little curious about.
Wow, you're not tired. I'm looking at
See? Wait, she Googled Reggae Jean Page and said you do have a type. What does he look like?
The guy you gave a 10 last
That was Jason Tatum. I gave Jason Tatum a 10.
Damn.
Who would you pick, Dylan? If you had to pick somebody.
You guys, this is really not gonna be, this is gonna underwhelm you. I would pick Christ.
That's not underwhelming. That's an amazing pick, honestly.
He's like a hippie.
It's like,
Jesus.
that's like a weird thing to pay somebody, like you know, when you, to me it sounds like almost like conflicting or contradicting, being like, I would pay to see Christ, but just like real talk, that's the one man on this earth that I actually feel like person on this earth that I ever feel like I respected, and that's why he's my Lord and Savior, because it's the only person on this earth that I looked at and was like, okay, well, at least in concept and in theory, and this is who you are, I'm gonna choose to believe this is who you are, then this is who I'm down to be.
I have one more.
Oh, let's hear it, bro.
Amelia Earhart, because I want to know what happened.
Ooh, that's a great one. That's a great one.
What happened when you were flying the plane,
Yeah, because
girl?
in 3rd grade they told me this story, and I was like,
That's
and,
crazy.
And they were like, and we don't know what happened. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know?
So what happened?
So,
What's next?
All right, so we got J-Lo's 4th divorce. How many is too many? Let's start with Pearl, because I know you have some stats behind the divorce.
What's up, Pearl?
How many is too many, girl?
How many is too many? Well, this shows why marriage is dead, because no one takes it seriously anymore. Not 1, 2, 3, but 4 marriages. At this point, just be in a long-term relationship. Why keep getting married if you're gonna keep getting divorced?
How do you feel? Because you're married.
I am. I think 4 is a lot. Like four marriages is a lot, but I think 2 is probably where and I'm just trying to be logical, because like personally, I don't see myself getting married again if my marriage didn't work out. But like, I don't see it. Like I don't see it, but the universe works in mysterious ways, and God works in mysterious ways. And so if it's meant for me to have another husband afterwards, then it will be. But to me, I think logically, most people would say if one marriage doesn't work out, you're not going to give up on love, right? Like you still might feel the opportunity to find like that soulmate, that person is still out there. So you might get married a 2nd time. So I could see like that. But I mean, after 2 now, you have to look in the mirror and do some self-reflection.
Even 2nd marriage, it's like 70% divorce rate.
You just have no positivity as it relates.
I know too much. I know too much.
That is
70.
There's no
how do you
positivity.
Is
Okay,
4 too much?
What is 4?
Look.
And how many is too many?
No
Just
shade,
number.
J-Lo. I
Don't
fuck
say
with
no
you,
shade,
but check
no
it out.
disclaimer.
1 is too much. I'm the type of person who thinks that it's one and done. It's a wrap. Real talk. Like when I get married, and even if that's at like 60 years old, which people think is middle age, which I think is completely crazy because they just have a really limited timeline for themselves. But even if that's when it happens for me, that's when it happens. Because that's when I'm gonna know, oh yeah, we in it for life. But it's also because I look at marriage as a business. Like, so I think in her case scenario, who knows? I think Pearl's question was valid. Like, why? How did we get to this point? Why just keep doing it again and again? But it's like, we all kind of define marriage by our own terms, in my opinion, even though there's this collective blueprint that we're supposedly supposed to follow and what it's supposed to be, and like, so robotic and stiff. So it's like, I think that she's ultimately just taking something and choosing to define it for herself. And also, real talk, let's just keep it a buck. I think that when it comes to being respected as a woman in society, when you're not married and you don't have that like marriage stamp, and you're trying to move in these different political atmospheres and business atmospheres and whatever, the people look at you like, what's wrong with you? Or what's going to happen?
That's the case anymore. Like, I think maybe that might have been the case, but I think now the way the power of just being an independent woman and being successful, and so many independent women, or I will say women who are not married, have been able to kind of like make a name and make a way for themselves, that I don't think that that's necessarily the case anymore. But I do believe that at one point it was and did feel like if you didn't have the validation of being married or being marriageable.
No, I still think it's that way. I think there's just a shift, just like with everything else. Like, we're starting to experience a shift, but why do women still feel this pressure? Why is it, like, it's still there? That's the thing. Like, it didn't just go away.
I don't think women feel pressure at all to get married.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think if we did, we would get married a lot younger. The average age of marriage goes up every year.
I do. I think there's a pressure on the culture. And I think it also has to do with the fact that, like, and don't get me wrong, I think we're in a very liberal space right now. So I think that's why it feels like, oh, you know, we're all just so independent and running and gunning and getting it. But I think that when it comes down to it, the historical impact of what it's been is just still there. I just don't think we're out of the dust yet. Like, I think it's still there. That's it.
No, I think marriage is dead.
No, marriage is definitely not dead.
No, marriage is alive.
Okay, ladies, I have a question. Is J-Lo the problem? Dylan?
She had to take a breath.
I think at the end of the day, when two parties are splitting, that they're both, you know, have to be held accountable for some reason. Because it's like you both got into it together, and now ultimately you're both entering out of it together. And I think that we have to, somebody needs to show me the stats on what everybody else's damn lives have looked like. And I think that when we're sitting here, we're just like looking straight at J-Lo or any of the women, Halle, whoever, who have had multiple divorces. I don't know. I think it's just, again, a thing that's like, this is how they simply chose to approach life. It didn't work out. We're going to keep it pushing. I think, again, both people are ultimately responsible for when a relationship comes down to not working out. But who's the fall like to blame for? I don't know. I don't know the dang details. Tell me something I don't know. Brittany, tell me something I don't know.
I mean, I think for me, they were a vibrational match. So I just kind of feel like you guys clearly came together for a reason. Energetically, you were on the same frequency. So to say that like one was more of the problem, I don't really think that really makes sense. I think that they both probably have their inner issues. They came together because they're on the same plane. And now it's ended in what it's ended in. I mean, I even feel like too, I don't know how like alleged it is, but I know like Ben Affleck has a history of drinking and other things like that. And like, drinking that's a form of coping. So whatever he has going on, whatever she has going on, I feel like it's kind of played out.
Like, he knew that she was.
Yeah, this was the second time.
This was the second time. So in a way, when we're talking about her fourth divorce, I mean, granted, it is factually the fourth time she's getting a divorce, but you've been married to the same man twice, right? So, that's kind of one of those conversations as, I think we could spin off to say, well, is this the reason that you probably shouldn't get back with an ex or whatever? Because whatever it was, and then sometimes it works. Like sometimes you just meet the right person at the wrong time and it makes sense to do something later. But like, I'm one who, I don't do repeats, like personally.
Okay.
I don't personally do repeats. So once we're done, we're done. But I will say, to your point, and I loved your point actually, that it's just maybe they're just not compatible. Like maybe they're just not on the same wavelength anymore. Yeah. And I don't think it's fair to say it's her fault or it's his fault. Like everyone has their own accountability.
We don't know. Like, how are we supposed to really weigh those scales?
Pearl, how do you feel?
Well, why as women, when we take an L, we can't just call it an L? That's an L. She probably is the problem. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 times.
What makes you say that? How is she the problem?
Well, I just think if you do the same thing, if you personally do the same thing and you keep having a negative result, you're probably doing something wrong. And if you don't acknowledge there's a problem, how will you fix it?
Okay. But I can actually agree on a certain degree with that, only because it's like when you think about it, like, one, it's like we go into it probably wishful thinking, but are we still seeing the same patterns? Are we refusing to look at the red flags? Are we refusing to acknowledge the things that genuinely need change, that are going to make a difference, that are going to ultimately set us up for success and happiness and longevity and all these things? Or are we continuing to repeat old cycles?
That's a fair point.
I mean, I know what it's like to be a hopeful romantic, so I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I do feel like everything you guys are saying makes sense to me too, because it's like, I feel like this is the time for her to really like look inward and be like, okay, what am I repeating to where I'm getting the same type of guys, the same type of patterns, the same type of results? So, J-Lo, blessings on your journey.
Before we move off of this 100%,
okay.
I just want us to ponder something really quick. Can we ask Ben Affleck, what are you doing to fumble the J-Lo bag twice? Like, why?
Okay. And why come back around? And then on top of that, why come back around if it wasn't going to be different?
I don't want to just throw this on J-Lo now. Like, you fumbled the bag twice. You know what I mean? Like, let me know. Pearl, can you admit that maybe it's him? Maybe it's not her. Maybe it's him.
No, I think 4 times is a lot.
Oh God, I tried.
I'm not saying.
But hasn't he been married multiple times as well?
I was married to Jennifer. I
was going to say, I think he had multiple wives before as well.
Yeah, he was married to Jennifer.
How is he exempt from being the problem?
I'm not saying that he has zero fault. But I think when you've gone through this 4 times, that's a lot.
Okay, let's just say he was 6 divorces.
And the question was, is she the problem? And I'd have to say, based on 4 marriages.
Earl just over here just is like, ladies, look, take control of your life.
I'm looking at it. It's 3. I'm looking it up right now.
I think he has 3. He was married to J-Lo. I know he was married to Jennifer Garner.
Damn, how many?
And
right
he's
there.
got to J-Lo again, but I don't know if there was one in between. Like, you know, I ain't really following Ben Affleck's life. So.
Divorces.
don't
Yeah,
know.
me neither. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
know.
who gives a fuck?
But it's cool.
No shame.
However,
No, I
all
mean,
of
if
them
it's
have
shame,
been married
shame.
and divorced multiple times.
But
There
lucky
we
for
go.
J-Lo,
I'm on an
she's
island.
hot
I don't see
enough
no
to get
shade.
another husband. So
She is hot enough to get another.
She is
J-Lo looks
absolutely
good
hot.
For her age, like
She
Come on, that's why I
does.
said you're still J-Lo. Okay.
She looks amazing.
She's still hot.
Boom.
So switching gears here, let's get into the WNBA, the WNBA girlies. So Caitlin Clark was interviewed about her name being weaponized. Now, this was like a 2-part thing, and I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the first part, I was really pissed off. But then I I saw her like follow up like the second part, and I'm a little curious, like, did somebody have a talk with her? Because why wasn't this energy present in the first interview? What are your immediate thoughts? Because I saw your response on Twitter.
Yes.
So how are you feeling about it? Is it genuine as well?
I am not at liberty to speak about whether or not she was genuine in her response.
Fair.
I'm gonna take her response for what it was.
Okay.
But what I will say is there was a missed opportunity, and granted that she came back around to say, you know, I don't want the first question. This is what bugs me, right? For those who are watching who are not journalists, we ask certain questions on purpose. Like, words means things. Like they mean things. And so the first question, because a lot of comments have been, well, the second question was more direct. Let's back up. The first question was, your name is being weaponized for divisiveness and culture wars. The second question was, your name is being weaponized for racism, bigotry, and misogyny. Are they not divisive things that happen? Are they not things that contribute to what many people will consider a culture war, depending on whether that's, you know, the culture of sex, whether that's gender, whether that's race, whether that's whatever. So no one's asking Caitlin or anybody to be an activist. People are activists in different ways. But the point that I made earlier in my tweet was simply, listen, this is a league that has a history of being on the forefront of social justice. This is a league that has a history of standing up to racism, of being in the forefront of the Say Her Name campaign, of being
no wonder no one watches it. No wonder.
And you know what? People
hate when you bring politics into sports.
And politics have been in the sports from the very beginning, and that's never going to change. But at the end of the day, I do believe, however, somebody might have gotten in her ear, and I hope they did, to say, hey, listen, you have to address this. Because her answer in the second part of the interview was very clear that I do not condone this. And that is all we have asked you to say this entire time. If that's what you truly believe, is that you don't condone it. You don't have to keep harping on it. You don't have to keep talking about it. You don't have to keep addressing it at this point. But you needed to take a stand, because silence is the antithesis of acknowledgement. And by not saying anything, it leads people to say, well, she must be complacent with it because she won't say no about it. So I'm glad she said something.
Pearl, what are your thoughts?
I like her. I like Caitlin.
That's fine.
I thought her response was fine. I didn't have a problem with it.
The first response?
I think they were both fine.
Okay. Dylan?
These damn 2 brains of mine. Okay, so I think that I agree that yes, she needed to say something if she wanted to be clear about exactly how she feels on the situation. I feel like when it comes to like putting myself in, if I were to put myself in her position and I'm just trying to focus on being the best athlete I can be, all this shit would be really annoying. Like, honestly, like, it's not that these aren't these huge things in life and whatever, but at the end of the day, she's trying to just isolate and, like, hyper-focus to be able to do what she's essentially being called to do, and it's perform. And I think that, again, sometimes the outside world can be a little judgmental and critical of the kind of mental discipline. Like I know she had mentioned she doesn't even really see a lot of the stuff. And I actually think that that's a fair point. I think it sounds like she's being kind of sheltered from it, to be fair. And again, if it was me, I would probably do the same thing. Like if I was in the middle of basically these crossfires where it's like, I don't want shit to get to my head. I don't want these energies to affect me. I don't want to lose my mind because maybe I'm too sensitive and I can't handle the pressure and can't handle all of these things. And I'm just a young lady trying to figure out my way in the world. I don't know where I stand on a lot of these things. I don't have time to sit here and go back and forth and think about it all. Like I'm just trying to play the game I love well. So I think it just becomes overwhelming, and so it gets difficult. Yes, the PR teams, all that stuff, that's great. But I think sometimes we forget that these are still people that we're dealing with. And again, like it's hard being at the fire and being at the center of it. And she might not be an activist. If she was, and she was like very clear about the types of things she stands for and things like that, then I would kind of be like, this is feeling a little inauthentic.
She just comes across as not political to me.
Yeah,
like
she seems like she wants to be out of it.
And Brittany, I want you to go ahead and speak, because I think that there's a point that's being
missed. Okay. When I first heard her response, I was actually infuriated, because how the fuck are you the face of the WNBA? And, well, I don't see it, so it doesn't exist. That's fucking bullshit. Like, you don't get the luxury of being like, well, I don't even know what my name is being used for. Because what I have an issue with is that other players are being demonized. Okay, so at that point, and it gives me chills because it's just so gross to me. So that was my biggest issue, is it's like, if you don't check social media, so I'm sorry, sweetie, you do not strike me as the person that just like, I'm just so innocent and I don't ever talk shit. And you have a raggedy ass boyfriend who allegedly was liking negative tweets about Angel Reese. So we know you pop your shit behind closed doors, but you want to sit here and you want to play prim and proper. I'm not falling for it. I'm sorry, conniving. And I feel like your first response is that's how you really felt. That's how you really felt.
No, she doesn't care.
And my thing is it gives me chills, because it's irritating to me, because it's like, that's how you really felt. Somebody probably got in your ear, you probably should, clear it up, PR. But that's not really how you felt. You had a smug ass fucking attitude. Let that be Angel Reese, right? If we're all wearing shirts and rioting and feel some type of way, we riot at dawn about her, and let her not say anything. Oh, I don't even see it.
Angel Reese.
I wish you would. Out of here.
I actually wish you would.
Out of here.
I wish you would. I think she needs to give less of a fuck. Like Caitlyn, I think she, even
you can't be the face of the league. You can't be the face of the league.
Yes,
No, because at the end of the day, it's still bigger than basketball. That's their biggest thing. And the NBA and WNBA is bigger than basketball. Okay, then act like it.
But look, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you
I just think it's not like that deep. People are going to say what they're going to say on social media. It's
not that deep.
No, it is. It is
that deep. Because at the end of the day, Angel Reese is fucking balling and nobody gives a fuck, because she doesn't get as many views and clicks as fucking Caitlyn Clark, because she's the great white hope. Nobody wants to talk about that. People gotta take accountability for shit. You wanna be the face of the league, well then fucking step like it. So when them bitches are knocking you to the fucking ground, bitch, I see why you're going through what you're going through.
I don't think she cares to be the face of the league. That's the thing. This is not on her.
Then move out the way.
But this is not on her. This is on the league. And regardless of how she's choosing to respond to these things, she's still the motherfucking face. And at the end of the day, we can be as mad about it as we want to be about it.
Agree on that.
That's fine. She's still the face. And it doesn't have anything to do with whether we're politically right or wrong. It simply has to do with the fact that she is talented and and there's an agenda and people are pushing the agenda and it continues to happen and happen and happen and happen. If somebody else wants to be the face, maybe we need a new motherfucking league. How about that? Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, this league, yes, this is the reflection. Why are we so frustrated about something that we know? We know that this is how these leagues operate. We know this is what they want. Why is she gonna care? Who was she raised by? The same people that built these fucking leagues. So when it comes down to it, what is our expectation here? She's looking at this shit like it's not my fucking business. Stop making it my business. Now everybody want to sit here and talk about me and talk about the shit. Keep doing it. I'm gonna go worry about the shit that's gonna make me actually actually a legend, not what everybody's sitting here trying to put all this pressure. And I hope that she does it. I also hope that the other ladies can just do the same fucking thing and also start making a name and a brand for themselves as well, because they haven't cared
But
to.
I think what you're
them.
missing is the fact that the other ladies don't have the option, because the other ladies are not white girls that can just completely ignore.
Okay, are we gonna continue to completely ignore the fact that at the end of the day, if none of that is true, Angel doesn't need to continue. She's not this horrible, evil, awful person. All she has to do is not let it affect her. The one thing that I know is when you give attention to that shit, the narrative builds, because all you're doing is adding fire and animosity to it. So when she's like, oh, I'm gonna be the bad guy, girl, be the bad guy then. Be the best bad guy they ever seen. Say, okay, fuck you in your comments. That's not what it is, and keep it fucking pushing. You're gonna gain respect in the league. You're gonna gain respect from the people, because the time will reveal all. I'm sick of the fucking color wars. We don't need to keep, it's a real thing, but what are we gonna do about it now? Are we gonna choose to step up and be like, I'm not gonna continue to let this get in my head and keep feeding the fucking agenda and making me pissed off? Or are we gonna be like, you know what, okay, Caitlyn, you don't give a fuck, that's cool. We know what side you're on, and we know what it is, and we're gonna keep it fucking pushing, and we are gonna start supporting the other women. How about let's start talking about Caitlyn Clark or Dejanay Carrington or fucking somebody else in the goddamn league? Why are we still here talking about Caitlyn Clark pushing the fucking agenda? Why is there not somebody else that we're sitting here talking about highlighting right now?
I will say, to your point, in terms of highlighting other people, we absolutely need to highlight other people, but I will not get off the soapbox that there is a race problem in the WNBA. There is a race problem in sports. It has existed and it will continue to exist.
There's a race problem in the world.
Exactly, because sports is a microcosm of the entire fucking society. And the more that we try to act like it doesn't exist, the worse it fucking gets. And nobody's asking her to get on a pedestal and say, hey, I'm here to solve all the problems and I'm here to provide the cure for cancer or any of that stuff. No one's asking her to be an activist. Everyone is just simply saying you have a voice and your voice matters whether you know it or not. No one's asking you again. She used it today.
And so and you're mad. She used it and you're mad.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're mad because you didn't like what she said at first.
No. I'm not mad.
And I'm not saying I agree.
What I said is that she missed.
I want her to say something better. We want somebody to come and stand up for someone.
I'm not mad, but I'm saying she missed an opportunity in the beginning. She missed an opportunity, but I'm not saying she's not the only one. We've had this argument about Sabrina Ionescu for years. We see players like Kelsey Plum.
I think your guys' expectations are too fucking high.
I don't think people's expectations are high enough when it comes to certain people, because you take on that expectation when you agree to play. You don't have to playing in the NBA, WNBA.
You
NFL,
want them to be something they're not.
Nobody wants anybody. Nobody wants anybody to be anything that they're not. But I will just say this: if I say, Dylan, your name is being used to weaponize,
then I'm gonna say something about it, because that's me.
Right,
but you stand for something.
Exactly.
Okay, she doesn't. That's the point. And my biggest thing my biggest thing is you can't reap all the privileges, and then when it comes, because you just said
this is America.
And that's great. That's great. It's fucked up.
It's not okay.
Fucked up here.
I agree with that.
It is fucked up, but it's a lot better than other places.
Third world country. It's not that. Have you ever been to a third world
Listen,
country?
at the end of the day, this is not a fucking loser Olympics. We don't get fucking treated like how they do over there. Let's rally and be. I'm not excited to fucking be still where we are, because at the end of the day, all this fucked up shit still happens. That's why it's like, oh my god, this is so amazing, because we live in a racist world, and oh my god, I love all this drama. At the end of the day, you stand for something. That's the fucking problem. Bitch, you want to be the fucking face of the league. That's why these bitches are gonna keep giving you a hard time. You gotta fucking earn that shit. Stand for something. Fuck. That's all I'm saying. And you know what? You're right, because our expectations are too goddamn high for people to fucking just say something.
Come on.
And at the end of the day,
Brittany,
that's the issue.
You called it out already. You called it out. You said
So you don't stand for shit? Okay, bitch. Okay, well then you're gonna have to work for that shit. You're gonna have to work for it. That's it. So don't fucking want all the privileges and we're not really playing basketball. They're pushing me to the ground.
They
don't fucking get all the motherfucking privileges, and you don't want to get the motherfucking other side of it, because there's two sides of the same coin. You want to skip the line, well, you can skip the line, but if you skip the line, there's other things you got to answer to. So motherfucking answer to. That's it. That's it. Moving right the fuck along. I don't even know how to pronounce this girl's name. Can you help me?
Shanae Agumake.
Oh, okay. Come on, Shanae.
I love Shanae.
Now we're talking. Now we're
moving right along.
I love Shanae.
Moving right along.
How do we feel about her video? Watch it today on X.
Loved it.
she was saying we need to move this conversation forward.
That's what I'm saying.
But how do we do that, right? We gotta talk. We gotta talk through this. This is uncomfortable. Like, none of this is good. I mean, Pearl, how do you feel that we can move forward past all of the race wars and all of the I should say buffoonery that's going on? How do we move forward then?
I'm sorry, this person I think blocked me, so I didn't see this. I didn't see this video.
Girl, you gotta quit pissing people off, sis. Like, that's why.
Man, you do it for a living.
They probably do got you blocked, man.
Oh, man.
They probably said, I ain't dealing with your foolishness, bro.
Okay,
But
what were your thoughts?
I love the video. I love Chanae. I love her heart. She was literally one of my close friends. So I love the video. But what I will say is part of, to your point, Dylan, part of moving the conversation forward is spreading the love. Like, not only talking about Caitlyn, but talking about the other 143 women in the league that are doing incredible and amazing things. That's how you move the conversation forward, and not always bringing up the negativity of the league. The league has done some great things over the last couple of years, bringing in new sponsors, increasing revenue 200%, looking towards a new TV deal. Like, they are moving forward, progressing. Those are the conversations that we have to have, not always about the negative things.
Agreed. Dylan, what's your response?
Well, first of all, just shout out to the Agumake sisters because they're brilliant. It's Nneka and Chanae. They're just, man, incredible. They're, to me, when I see them, it's like the Serena and like Venus women's basketball. And it's also because I got to grow up really watching them. They played at Stanford. They were the reason, like one of the huge reasons I wanted to go there. So when you're, like, again, like, let's just like talk about that. Look at these educated, incredible, diligent women. Like, this is what I want to talk about. Because these are the things that we should be talking about and highlighting. And again, when we're saying like, okay, so how do we shift the conversation? It's that simple. We pivot. Just like in basketball. You make a motherfucking pivot and you go, well, look at these incredible women. And again, I agree. I think it just is a matter of being that simple. It might be complicated because sometimes we get fixated on the things that are popular and trending and whatever. But at the end of the day, who's going to be the trailblazers or the pioneers that are going to be like, let's start and pivot the conversation. Let's start talking about, you know, the Jewel Lloyds of, or the Skylar Diggins. First of all, shout out to Skylar motherfucking Diggins. Okay, because Skylar Diggins is a beast. And mind you, she's one of the reasons that I also wanted to play at Notre Dame, but not even just that. She's like, to me, along with Maya Moore, left basketball to go get her husband out of jail, wrote a whole book about it. I hope we put that bitch on the screen and we start promoting that shit. And again, like, just things like that. Skylar Diggins, man, this woman to me was one of like the most beautiful women. So for me coming in, like there were so many beautiful women who've played. You have Cheryl Swoops, you have Lisa Leslie, you have just all these gorgeous women who have played but have never gotten the platforms, the timing, it just wasn't there for them to get that highlight or to be, you know, endorsed like that. Now we're starting to have it. And to me, the ladies like this, again, Maya, Skylar Diggins, man, they changed the game. They really did. Like, even before I was coming in, it was because not only were there these beautiful women, they were beasts and they were smart and they were intelligent. They had all these other qualities of a person. That's why I was like, no, I want to continue to take this path as well, because look at the kind of women that these people become. And it was so empowering to me. I mean, even all the things Skylar's been up against with having a child and all that stuff with the league, it's a different kind of power that you ultimately have to call to. And again, that I think needs to be talked about more, needs to be highlighted. But again, it's not drama, it's not controversial, so it's not getting that same kind of love. But I'm on the same damn page, everybody. Pivot.
I want to add to one thing to her, and that's, I love everything you said, and I want to make sure that I throw in Asia Wilson in this conversation, because she's a current modern star who, to me, is the face of the WNBA. To me, people may not agree, but to me, she's the face. But she's not just such an incredible role model. She's also an entrepreneur. She's also a New York Times bestseller. She's also someone showing that you can play ball, be beautiful, and have so many other things going for you, and you can be a beast on the court and win championships back to back. Like, she's doing it. She's the epitome of what it means to be a badass. And I wanted to make sure that she got some love on this. But I'm going to call out the media. And I am media, so I'm not calling just out me, but everybody else out here. You have got to stop only worrying about ratings and only worrying about what's going to trend. Because that is the reason why it's so difficult for us to move the conversation in a different direction.
And operate at a loss forever.
That's not operating at a loss. Media is
the core values of what we're trying to create.
What people don't understand is that media is what tells people what's popular. If the media stopped airing a certain something and started airing a certain something else, and people started to consume it over and over, guess what? That new thing
would be
a popular thing. So you don't have to only worry about what this particular name or this particular person does.
No, they push a lot of women's basketball forward. They try their best.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think it's a collective effort. I think everything that you guys said absolutely makes sense, because it does matter what we talk about and what we give attention to, and not caring, again, just solely about the clicks, and really just about pushing the culture forward and moving on. So, our final segment today, Down in the DM.
Jesus.
Some out-of-pocket DMs. We all got it.
Oh, man.
Pearl, I feel like you got the most.
I feel like Pearl's DM is probably the craziest.
I think you got the most.
I feel like mine are kind of light. For some reason, people haven't been that mean to me lately.
You're hilarious, talking about it. But you know what?
Mine
I don't be
pretty
looking at that
basic,
shit.
I would say.
What's a basic one?
I hope someone kills you sooner or later. They sent that in January. Luckily, he followed up last Sunday. He said, kill yourself. I was like, should I? No, I'm kidding.
No, people.
And then the other one I got, God, you are hideous. I cannot describe how ugly you are. It's insane. He's consistent. You should end it all.
Oh my God.
I was like, damn.
I'm so glad you have higher self-esteem than that, Pearl.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot.
You're mentally strong as hell.
Quite honestly, I have nothing in my DMs that can compare to that.
Pretty light.
Oh, that's not even the worst one. You got
What's the worst one? Let's hear it.
I can't. It's not at the top, but I've gotten ones that are like paragraphs. So not only should you kill yourself, but why? And here's point A, B, C, and D. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't really,
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
I don't have any.
I
Brittany,
feel like
what's
mine are
yours?
really light, because the stuff I screenshot, again, I'm like, where are all the mean ones when I need them? I do, but
I don't screenshot these shits. I don't even like to look at them.
one of mine is hanging 10 inches. I'm sure you have a desire to be handled once in a while.
Damn, he's trying to lay that work.
10 inches?
He's trying to lay that
I
work.
earned that one.
I cannot.
Picture doesn't exist.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like I get a lot of sexual ones.
Yeah.
So.
That's what happens, when you be flexing.
Yeah, showing a little baddie.
Man.
What's one of yours?
Most of my negative stuff is like not in my DMs. They're just straight to the comments. Like, they don't even have to hide in the DMs. They go straight to the comments. But I did get one comment recently that I thought was rather cute.
Oh.
And I think I'll share this one. Go to Dylan and then come back to me so I can pull it back up, because I lost it.
Sure.
Okay, so one of the DMs, I actually found it quite endearing.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I found it endearing. And they were asking me why I didn't play in the NBA. Oh. And I'll get questions like that all the time, really or again the sexual things, or sometimes some creepy things. But again, I don't really. I'm like Caitlyn with it. It's not my business. I don't know. I don't see it. But to me, I thought it was endearing, because I was like, oh, thank you. You think you're ignorant, but in my world, I took it as, oh yes, you think that I'm that ballin', that I just basically went straight to the NBA. Because, I do play men, so thank you.
Yeah.
Very much. I found it endearing.
Okay.
Well, I made a video. People didn't like my comments. And
Not the internet.
the internet, and the response was, "You are beyond a joke at this point. Jealousy is radiating from your message. You need to embrace what CeCe has brought to the game and what comes of it. That's why you're fat."
Hell no. Yo, these DMs are crazy. I feel like it'd be
I
like
was like,
who's
well,
in my
damn.
DM more than what gets said. That'd be
That's
crazy.
In my mind, I was
Damn.
like, how did my weight get into
Wait,
this?
wait.
That's what was funny.
Is it from their account?
Is it from their accounts?
Oh yeah, this is from their account. This is Cotty 60. So but they do have 739 followers.
Wait, what's that?
Which is
39
more.
whopping followers.
Wait, 739. So a lot more than typical. But Cotty, you just made yourself popular.
You just gotta wonder, y'all. Like you
Don't
really
worry.
you living rent free in their head.
Don't worry to the guys that give me death threats. I won't expose your ass. I'll still be nice about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So, and all this craziness out here in the DM. The DM so crazy I can't even really say it what I want to say because if I start to say it, it's gonna go left real quick here. I don't know what's gonna happen. No.
Listen, ladies, it has been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. And in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.